Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another top 10 favorite figures of 2022 list video, and this is going to be of my top 10 favorite SH Figuarts figures of 2022. I usually don't get this many SH Figuarts figures in a year. I think usually like 5 or 6, but I got a little bit over 10 this year because Bandai Tamashii Nations and Bandai Spirits have done an absolutely fantastic job this year with a lot of their different lines. I'm very impressed with what they did this year. They did a lot of stuff with their pre-existing lines, like with Dragon Ball, as well as Jujutsu Kaisen. They returned to the Naruto line, which a lot of people are happy about. They brought in new figures for the Spy Family line as well. And the list goes on. And some stuff, of other lines like Ultraman, as well as Kamen Rider, I don't collect because I'm not familiar with those series, but that stuff also looks pretty cool. I was not able to get the SH Figuarts movie Deadpool before the end of the year, and I ordered that. I tried to get it, and I just couldn't, unfortunately, by the time I was doing this list. But that one looked really cool, as well as Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. I really wanted to get that from imports websites, and I was not able to, so I'm going to have to wait till Big Bad Toy Store gets mine in stock. 2023 even looks like a better year for this particular company because of Chainsaw Man coming into the line. Very excited about that. Now, with all that out of the way, I just want to do a couple of really quick honorable mentions. The Spy Family figures here that I mentioned earlier did not make the list, unfortunately, but they were very, very close. And I say that mainly because they both have a few problems that keep them from the list. With Anya, she is a pretty small figure, which is, she's a child, she should be small. But because her head is so big and the rest of her body is very small, she can be a very top-heavy figure. She does come with a lot of really nice accessories, but I'm not a fan of the plastic outfit she has. It really hinders the articulation, and she has very short, stubby legs to begin with. So, again, she likes to fall over a lot. Posing her can be very difficult. With Lloyd here, this is a really nice looking figure. I think that these particular figures are very out of scale with a lot of other SH Figuarts stuff. These things are very tall. Like, I'm going to bring in Naruto right here. Yeah, these things are just really, really tall. I think they upscaled these because they wanted to get her at a certain size. They had to get her at a certain size, so they upscaled the other figures, I guess. But Lloyd, unfortunately, his hips really keep him from posing around and just standing properly. He's fallen over a few times since I've had him for about a month, and it's a little bit worrisome. I feel like eventually he's going to fall over and something's going to break on him. Everything else about the figure is really nice, but because it's just not super fun to pose around, the hips really, really get in the way, and it's just kind of bothersome. Because of those reasons, both of these did not make it on the list, but they are very good despite their shortcomings. Yours coming in soon. Cannot wait for that particular figure, as well as the casual figures that we'll be getting next year, as well as Bond. Anyway, with all that rambling out of the way, I'm going to start finally with number 10. At number 10, I'm going to put the Piccolo figure from Dragon Ball Super Superhero on the list. Is it a little low for this figure? Maybe. It's a really nice figure. This is one of my favorite characters from the Dragon Ball series. I just wish it came with some extra stuff, mostly maybe like an extra stern expression head or maybe an effects piece. I would have paid extra for that stuff, but we don't have that, unfortunately. Also, on my particular figure, I've always had a splotch right here on the collarbone, unfortunately. So this is mostly the Proud Namekian version, body, with some retooled parts in some different colors, which I actually like how they did it more here compared to the previous one. Not that it was horrible in the previous one, of course, it was really good. I just like it, how it looks a little bit more here. The boots are, new here. And I was afraid that this particular figure was going to have that CG effect in the paint apps, like what I've seen with Goku and Vegeta. But it's not very bad here at all. So this is still a really nice figure. Again, some extra stuff just would have come a long way. At number 9, I'm going to put the Megumi Fushiguro figure from Jujutsu Kaisen on the list. This also seems pretty low for this figure. Unfortunately, I wasn't disappointed with it. I was honestly just a little lukewarm, unfortunately. The thing is that they definitely sacrificed giving this figure particular accessories that he should have for a Sukuna face, unfortunately. We really should have had an extra head sculpt at least, and maybe some extra hands, maybe a weapon, that would have been nice. I don't have any of the hands on me right now, but the Shikigami hands, oh, that's pretty nice. I know that they couldn't give us an actual Shikigami with this package. I understand that. It would have been unrealistic and way too expensive. But I would have paid a little bit extra for, an extra face or two for this particular figure, and then the Sukuna face. But the overall body mold is really nice. The colors are done rather well. You have some minor paint apps going on here with the buttons. And it's still a really nice looking figure. The details like the boots, all that is great. Hopefully they'll do an updated version where we get more stuff and more unique stuff for this figure. At number 8, I'm going to give it to Sakura Haruno from Naruto Shippuden. Really impressed with this figure. A lot more than I thought it was going to be. Not that I thought it was going to be bad, but I'm not a big Naruto fan. At least I need to keep watching. I still haven't gotten to Shippuden yet. I'm a little bit into the first show. But we finally have a Sakura that a lot of people were waiting for in this line for so long. And I think, from what I've heard, she does not disappoint. She could have come with some weapons, but the alternate hands and faces that she comes with are really nice. The effects piece she comes with is also pretty sick. The overall body mold and sculpting is really well done with a lot of what's going on here. The articulation is also very, very awesome. Just one thing I don't love is just how weird the back of the shoulders look here, unfortunately. I don't really know what was going on there. But everything else about this is fantastic. At number 7, I have Noboru Kugisaki from Jujutsu Kaisen. Very happy with this particular figure here. I think that they did just about everything they needed to with this figure in terms of accessories, all the hammer and all the different hands. Some of the hands that have nails painted in them, those are sick. I think what could have been improved was the paint in the hair. It looks a little plain. And then, just particularly, I think the ball joint ankles don't look amazing, but they're not god-awful. I can live with them. Everything, with the sculpting in the outfit is really well done. What paint is there is really nice as well. I feel like a lot of these figures should have a base coat of paint, but then you have the smaller details like the buttons and the belt. I feel like this figure and Fushiguro didn't sell very well, unfortunately. Hopefully that's not a bad sign of things to come. This was on sale for a good number of times on different websites, so hopefully you guys were able to get this at some kind of discount. I'm fine paying $55-$60 for this particular figure, but hopefully that is not a bad sign for things to come with particular characters in the Jujutsu Kaisen stuff for SH Figuarts. At number 6, I'm going to give it to the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero version of Satoru Gojo. That seems pretty low for this list, considering that the version from last year was my favorite figure of the year. And it's really hard to put this at number 6, and then the stuff in top 5 and this figure here, they're all very interchangeable with each other, honestly. It's just that there's not much new here compared to what is in the top 5, to where I don't really feel right putting this above what we're about to get into. Don't get me wrong, we knew we were going to get this body again, because his look here is very much the same as it was with the first figure. I do like the new collar piece, and in terms of accessories, I think this one is done better than the previous Gojo, with the face plates and all that. It's just that, there's a little bit of this break here, unfortunately. The faces kind of want to shift down like that, unfortunately, and, there's a slight move like that keeps him down. Now, he does come in the effects piece, which is awesome. The skin tone's a little bit different here compared to the previous ones, so swapping those parts gonna look a little weird. But this is still an absolutely fantastic figure that it pains me not to put higher in the top 5. Okay, getting into the top 5, we have the Krillin figure. I'm very happy they finally updated this figure. A lot of us have been needing a Krillin for a while because a lot of us missed out on the original one. And I don't have that original one, of course. And from what I've heard, people like this one more than that one. This is a really fantastic figure. I think the only thing I had a problem with is that I wish it came with an extra expression that was more smiling. It's just mostly like fighting pose faces, which is fine, of course. And then you have the shocked face, which I'm cool with as well. I've kept him, posed with the Sensui bag for a while. So that's a cool little addition they gave out. The new articulation on this thing, details, looks like they have a little bit of shading in some areas, mostly in the pants, or that could just be how the plastic is done. I'm not entirely sure. But it is just a really fantastic figure. It's very fun to mess around with. It also pains me not to put this higher, but there's just some other stuff on here that I think is a little bit better. But this is still an absolutely fantastic figure. At number 4, I'm going to give it to Sasuke from Naruto Shippuden. This is fantastic. Oh, man. And again, I'm not that big of a Naruto fan, or at least I haven't gotten into it that much. And I still think that this is a fantastic figure. It is so good with different faceplates that this comes with, different hands. The stuff that they did with the weapon system is fantastic. You know, the different looks for the sword. The only thing is, I'm not a big fan of this. This part on here right now is fine, but when you try to put in the interchangeable sword part, you know, to holster your sword, that doesn't really fit in there that well. And then there's, you know, skin tone inconsistencies with the chest and the neck. You can't see it that much right now, but in person it's more apparent. Other than that, there is really no other problems with this figure. The shading in some areas is fantastic. The articulation is really great, and it's just a really well-made figure. Number 3, I gotta give it to Naruto from Naruto Shippuden. Now, some of you may be thinking that it might be a little bit blasphemous to put this figure over the Sasuke I just showed off a second ago, and I totally understand. Here's the thing. This Sasuke is definitely worth the price you're paying for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna sound like a cheapskate when I say this. But 55, 60 bucks, I don't remember exactly how much it's supposed to be. Definitely worth the price. The fact that this here is 35 bucks really helps. Not because it's a cheaper figure that comes with a good amount of stuff, but you can keep buying more and more of these for a reasonably affordable, affordable rate, and buy Shadow Clowns. And this is already a fantastic figure on its own, and getting more of these is just going to make it a great Shadow Clone display. So the stuff that this figure does come with, you know, different faceplates, all that's fantastic. The kunai is really cool. The different paint on the actual figure is really nice as well. Some of the shading on here is great. My particular figure has a couple of scuffs, unfortunately. But other than that, and the fact that, if I zoom out a minute, the fact that I don't think it's supposed to be this much taller compared to Sasuke, which doesn't look that tall right now, but yeah, it's a little weird how tall this is to me. Again, I haven't gotten to Shippuden, but a lot of people have said that Naruto is a little too tall. I still think that this is such a fantastic figure. I can't help but put it really high on this list. Number 2, I'm going to give it to the Yuta Akotsu figure from Jujutsu Kaisen 0. I'm super happy with this figure. I mean, it only came out maybe like 3 months ago. I don't exactly remember. It's rather recent, but I absolutely love this figure. Really well done. Faceplates are great. Different hands are awesome. The katana is really sick, as well as the bag for it. The only issue I mentioned in the review, is that there's like blue shading here, which is nice, but there really isn't any of that throughout the rest of this shirt, which is a little weird. But that button's pretty nice. They did do some cool things with some of the articulation, like how they did this forearm piece, I should say. Really cool. This does stick out a little bit. It's a little too circular, but you know, I really don't mind it too much. Going all the way down to the body, everything looks great, especially those shoes. This is just such a fun, really well done figure. They absolutely nailed it. I'm really hoping we eventually get, you know, a version of how he looks later on in the manga. Whenever they start adapting, it's going to be a while till they adapt it in the anime. But another version of this is going to be very welcome when it's time to finally get one. And at number 1, I have to give it to the Ultimate Gohan figure from Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Okay, let's ignore literally anything regarding the different accessories for Gohan with premium Bandai figures. This figure on its own is still absolutely fantastic. I have posed this around more than anything in my collection this year, I'm pretty sure, because this thing is super, super fun. Now, my only issue with this particular figure is that I feel like this head sits a little too low on the neck, and people have said that is actually supposed to be accurate. Here's the thing. If you wanted to, you can cut out this little skin tone piece right there with the circle, put in a piece of paper, fill that back in with maybe like super glue, and it sits a little bit higher on there. And even right now, I don't think it looks too bad. The faceplates that we do get with this figure and the hands are really nice. And here's the thing. Whether you are getting the premium Bandai stuff or not, you have your options. With premium Bandai, you know, a lot of people are getting those superhero figures no matter what, so you're going to get the accessories. You can also just order custom parts from like DL Customs or other places, and maybe Demonic of it will maybe make some, I'm not entirely sure. But you have your options if you don't, you know, you can go one way or the other. You don't have to choose one thing, so that's a good thing. And just the base figure itself is absolutely incredible with all this sculpting on here. The articulation is great. There's a little bit of shading in some areas. I wish there was a little bit more, but I do like the boots as well. The overall sculpting I've already mentioned is really well done. I don't know.
It seems a little basic to put at number 1, but I absolutely love this figure, and I was having so much fun when I got it, and I'm still having a lot of fun with this figure late towards the end of 2022. So that's my list. Do you agree or disagree with anything on the list? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd like to hear some of you guys' choice, especially if it's something of a series I don't particularly collect, like, again, Kamen Rider or Ultraman. I'd like to know if you have any particular favorites. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.